The first thing the children noticed was the sky. It was the wrong blue. On Heritage, the generation ship that had carried humanity's remnants for 11 generations, the sky was a careful simulation, constant, gentle, dependable. But when the landing craft pierced the clouds of Erebus 7, the blue was deeper, sharper, alive with drifting white storms that cast moving shadows across the continents below. And there were lights, cities. Captain Mara Ionescu stared at the sensor feed, her hands locked around the rail as if the truth might shake loose. Towers glittered along coastlines. Orbital elevators curved like silver threads into space. Traffic moved in disciplined arc satellites, cargo skiffs, defense platforms, human technology. "Confirm," she said hoarsely. The AI complied, its voice soft with something almost like regret. Atmospheric markers confirmed Terran genetic signatures. Architecture consistent with post-Fourth Expansion design. Estimated colonization age, approximately 250 years. Silence filled the bridge. Heritage had left Earth 412 years ago. They were supposed to be the first. The ship's history was sacred. Children memorized it before learning calculus. Earth was dying. Oceans rising, skies burning, nations collapsing into dust. Erebus 7 was the answer, a distant promise mapped by telescopes and hope. The ship launched with 30,000 souls, and the certainty that no rescue, no faster ship, no miracle would follow. They had crossed the dark alone. Or so they believed. When Heritage entered orbit, automated hails flooded their receivers. "Unidentified vessel," a calm voice said. "You are entering restricted space of the Erebus Confederation. Please identify yourselves." Mara swallowed. "This is the generation ship Heritage. We are human." A pause. A long one. Then, "Welcome home." The delegation met on neutral ground, a floating station above the planet's northern sea. The colonists were human, unmistakably so, but altered by time and comfort. Their bodies bore subtle genetic refinements, as adapted to Erebus' brighter sun, lungs optimized for thinner air. Their clothing was simple, elegant, woven with embedded light. Their leader, Chancellor Elias Wren, looked at the crew of Heritage as one might look at ghosts. "We thought you were a myth," he said. "A cautionary tale, mostly. The Lost Fleet." Mara felt anger flare through her exhaustion. "We were never lost. We were on schedule." "Yes," Wren replied gently. "Just overtaken." He told them the story. 2 centuries after Heritage's launch, Earth had stabilized. Fusion arrays, climate engineering, political unification progress had surged faster than anyone dared predict. Faster than light travel followed. Erebus 7, once unreachable, became merely distant. The first colony ships arrived within decades, seeding cities, building infrastructure, shaping a civilization. "And no one thought to look for us?" Mara asked. Wren's eyes softened. "We did. For generations. But space is vast, and your trajectory was old data. Eventually, the search became ceremonial. We assumed..." He hesitated. "We assumed you hadn't survived." The words settled like ash. The news shattered Heritage. Some wept with relief. Earth had lived, humanity had thrived. Others raged, centuries of sacrifice rendered meaningless by a footnote in history. The elders, whose entire identities were forged by duty, stared at walls as if the stars themselves had betrayed them. The children asked the hardest questions. What do we do now? Heritage was not designed to turn back. Earth was a legend to them, Erebus their promised land. But Erebus already had laws, borders, histories written without them. They were not pioneers. They were refugees from the past. The Confederation offered integration, land grants, citizenship, education for the children. The ship could be preserved as a museum, a monument to human endurance. A museum. Mara walked the corridors one last time, past murals painted by hands long dead, past gardens tended by ancestors who believed every leaf was a prayer for the future. She realized then what hurt most was not being beaten there. It was being forgotten. The decision came not from the captains or councils, but from the children. They gathered in the observation dome, faces reflected in the glass, staring down at a living world that had never waited for them. "We're still us," a girl named Aina said. "Even if they got here first. We carry stories no one else does," another added. "Songs that never touched a planet. We crossed the dark the slow way," said a boy whose great-grandmother had been born mid-journey. "That has to mean something. So heritage stayed whole. Not as a relic, but as a city ship in orbit, an autonomous cultural state." Some emigrated planetside, curious and hopeful. Others remained aboard, choosing the familiar hum of engines over open skies. The Confederation amended its history. Not to erase its triumphs, but to add a chapter. The generation ship that arrived too late and proved that progress did not make sacrifice obsolete. Because while Erebus had been colonized by humans, humanity, in all its patience and stubborn hope, had arrived anyway.